I've always really liked the way the Souls games included magic and spellcasting as a fantasy element. It's done quite distinctly. I think you can recognise a Souls spell very easily just from an image. In this episode we'll be featuring submissions covering the sorcery path, including the dark magic subset which became hexes in Dark Souls 2. Generally the best sorceries in the past have had very high damage potential, balanced out with the fact that they're usually quite easy to avoid just by rolling through them. But in this video we'll feature some of the best uses of magic as well as the most interesting and unique. But just remember, if you ever find yourself repeatedly dying to spellcasters, there are always counters you can use. One of the very best being the Magic Barrier Miracle, which only requires 14 Faith for the basic version and is available in every single Souls game. In Dark Souls 2 it even buffs your allies, so added bonus there. This miracle will pretty much hard counter any spellcasters you face, so keep that in mind. Right, let's get magical at number 10. We begin in the forest on the bridge just in front of Sif's arena. It's actually incredible how they don't manage to kill him immediately. It's so unbelievable. I mean, how the host doesn't actually manage to get a backstab, I have no idea. Miraculously, we have an escape just as a second invader joins the party. We then have a classic spell combination, Homing Crystal Soul Mass followed up with a Darkbead Blast. Then it's time to wrap things up with his new friend. He misses a Crystal Soul Spear but brings out the ultimate finisher, the White Dragon Breath spell, which has the highest intelligence requirement in the game, and it smacks the poor guy for 973 damage. Problem with it has always been slow casting time, and it travels in a straight line. But that doesn't matter here at all, because this narrow bridge is obviously the perfect place for it. He's also using the Moonlight Butterfly Horn because the damage scales with intelligence, and it helps out here to get a few pokes in, along with the other invader who takes the victory. We have to have a clip entirely dedicated to Darkbead. I think it was just that impactful of a sorcery in the series. It's a spell that fires 7 separate orbs horizontally out in front of the player. Each individual orb deals damage, so you want to hit targets very close in front of you ideally, so that all the orbs connect and you pretty much kill everything in one hit this way. It's one of the fastest spells in the game. It actually might be the fastest spell to cast, so it's hard to punish. And because it's a dark spell, it deals physical damage as well as magical, which means it smashes through your opponent's poise and stamina as well as health. With a setup tuned with high intelligence, you can actually one-shot players with items like the Crown of Dusk and the Crystallization Catalyst. Overall, it's a great spell with not that many weaknesses, as this clip will showcase once the invader finds the host. I see the host was actually dropping some items for his summons. Maybe they were trading to prepare for the boss, but either way, his summons got shredded, including poor Solaire, and it looks like that item's lost forever. Dark Fury 45 comes in at number 8 with some Dark Souls 2 footage. He claims his submission helped prove that Dark Souls 2 was when sorcery was at its strongest in the series. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think sorcery has its place in every game, but his reasoning in the email he sent me revolves around the ability to control the battlefield with spells. In this clip he's using Soul Greatsword to sweep damage out 100 degrees in front of him, even damages through walls, and that surprises this white summon. Also, this area in particular has a ton of elevation variance. The host is below him, battling on a separate platform, which allows a perfect opportunity to cast Soul Shower, forcing the host to run down under cover, but still taking 600 damage in the process. He tried to run back up to high ground, I guess, but got cleared out by Crystal Soul Spear. So that ended up being quite a smooth double kill, with specific spells being used depending on the environment situation. The Halicarnassus is invading on a pure sorcery build. Yes, that means spells only. Quite a fun challenge, although he's taking it seriously because he has maxed out 99 intelligence. The best invasion he sent me involves him running through Anor Londo using the hidden body sorcery to be extra sneaky, although he does have the obscuring ring on too, so it's a bit overkill really. We got a great Ornstein and Smo cosplay watching over the main stairs for unlucky invaders. Not today though, unfortunately for them. This invader has a pair of binoculars to line up the shot, as well as the mother of all sorceries. I love how that Soulstream smacked him so hard he bounced over the short wall. Lucky guess on which one the host would be too. Voxumo is dueling in the Round Plaza Arena, Dark Souls 3, with the Immolation Tinder, which is a very long range weapon that has a bonus ability of being able to cast sorceries. So it acts as a stave, which can throw people off because it's not obvious when you're about to cast a spell. You can mix in your casting with standard attacks. He's also using the Snap Freeze spell to inflict Frostbite, which weakens your opponents as well as lowering their stamina. He also has the Dark Edge sorcery for a vertical attack, and in the grand finale, Pestilent Mist, which is like Life Drain Patch from Dark Souls 2. It repeatedly deals damage to everything nearby, including the caster. This is not commonly seen in PvP, that's for sure. I guess though, people just aren't used to it, so they might not realise how far away they actually have to be to stay out the way, but either way, he actually gets some kills with it, which is very impressive. Number 5, of course you knew we had to have at least one. Up next from Frost, we have a spicy one-shot build with a sorcery twist. So this is a glass cannon. You'll notice how he keeps his health one hit away from death. This is to ensure he's in Red Tearstone and Morian Blade range. He's got 2 Morian Blades in fact, which they do stack, so he holds them both as his homing affinity orbs fire off at the target and hits for lethal damage. Pretty smart move. Aside from that, he's using Great Soul Dregs, such a cool spell from the Ring City. It's an absolutely huge size, so I feel like this way his crazy damage actually makes sense. At least in terms of physics, right? If you're getting hit by a sorcery the size of a house, I feel like it should really hurt. So from what we see here, you can get this spell to hit in the high 1000s. You might even be able to hit 2000 on certain enemies, depending on your enemy's resistance. So yeah, most people will not be surviving a direct hit. Awesome build. I always had a soft spot for high risk extreme setups like this, and there's a cool sorcery selection too. Gabriele Conforto is invading in the Ring City on a Mound Maker Sorcerer. Did you notice that white summon, by the way? What an absolute savage. He's a Mound Maker, so one kill is often all he needs. In one of his invasions, he joins a red invader suppressing a team coming down the stairs, and is a bizarre team made up of a host and 2 Dark Moons. I don't think I've ever seen a Dark Moon double kill. If I have, either way, that is so satisfying. So yeah, Crystal Soul Spears can blast through more than one player. Turns out there were more summons on the way too, but a bit too late. Wesley 1, invading hosts in the Udasil Township entrance, one of the more popular dueling spots, and this man is a top tier troll. He's got sorceries, but one of those equipped sorceries is not like the others. Allow me to introduce you to Aural Decoy, a monstrous sorcery banned all over Lordran. Basically, you cast a sorcery that makes a laughing noise. Does it deal damage? Nope. Does it do anything? Yeah, actually, it lures enemies in PvE, like the Alluring Skull item. Mind games, people. Serious mind games. Don't underestimate them. There is no way the host wouldn't have rolled through that Darkbeat casting in a normal match. But with all the dummy Aural Decoy castings first, totally different story. Also, shout out to that giant dad at the back. This next one features a similar concept to something that was showcased a long time ago in a previous top 10, but is pulled off so perfectly here. If you've never seen this trick done before, you'll love it. This is Tweaky Degree in Irithyll, and he's an invader, but using the white ring, the untrue white ring, which changes your colour to that of a friendly white summon. When combined with the Hidden Body sorcery, you suddenly appear as a transparent grey outline, similar to that of players in other worlds that sometimes appear. I saved the one that, theoretically, the least amount of people should know about. You may have used a sorcery called Twisted Wall of Light before. The description is that you cast it to deflect spells coming at you. It can be useful for things like the Aldrich boss fight and stuff like that. There was something similar in Dark Souls 2, hexes called Twisted Barricade and Repel. Anyway, it's not that useful in PvP normally. It's almost always been better to just roll through everything, and that includes spells. However, there is another use that's actually quite useful. Turns out if you cast Twisted Wall of Light before you cast your own spells, it will change the projectile path, warp the angles at which spells fire, and potentially even change the timings. And this is more useful than you might think, because Dark Souls players roll to avoid things automatically. It's second nature to them, they don't think about it, so anything you can do to surprise them and throw them out of autopilot is something worth doing. Alright, that wraps this one up. The next topic shall be top 10 Gravelord kills. Yeah, I'm serious, I love this Covenant. I know this topic is exclusive to Dark Souls 1, and normally I try to include clips from all the Souls games, so I'm sorry, but it is just this once. The remaster for Dark Souls 1 recently came out, so it at least makes sense. I'm going to start saying from now on, if you could get your clips into me within 2 weeks after this video has gone up, that would really help me out. Any clips you have interacting with the Gravelord Covenant, showing off your skills, all that stuff, maybe some sneaky Gravelord spots you found. I'm going on holiday to Poland for a week once this video goes up, so videos will start again in a week and a bit. I've got the Bloodborne top 10s continuing, Souls stuff, and I even got to play some Code Vein recently, so that'll be coming up. See you soon!